Ed here with the Digital Digest, and today I'm unboxing the Samsung Galaxy Z Flip 6 for 2024. I'll include a link in the description for those of you interested in purchasing one, and in full disclosure, this was not furnished to me by the manufacturer, but rather I pre-ordered it. So here we have the Flip 6 in silver, and I'm going to get it out of the box, but I wanted to start off by talking about what makes this different from the previous generation. Now, the Flip 5 was a big change from the Flip 4 and frankly every other flip that preceded it, and the reason was really simple. It was a redesign that gave you a cover display that was just so much more usable, much larger, just so many advantages. Now here, with this generation, we don't have as many changes aesthetically. Still, arguably, I think, the most popular foldable device on the market, and for good reason. Incredibly pocket-friendly. It actually protects itself when it's closed and reveals a 6.7-inch, really beautiful display on, again, a device that can break down and become smaller in a pocket, in a purse, in a bag, and you don't have to worry about the internal display getting damaged. So let me go ahead and peel off that internal display sticker, move this out of the way. It does come with a charging cable, of course. We still have these soft rounded edges. And the significant upgrades to this device, let me get rid of the front cover display as well, are all about what's under the hood. So, of course, we have the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, the same one that's in the Fold 6 and the S24 Ultra. And that already means performance across the board is going to be superior to the previous generation. Our Type-C port here is still unfortunately capped at 25 watts. This is probably the biggest disappointment of the sixth generation of both the Flip and the Fold. I think everyone was hoping for a little bit more. Your SIM card slot right there, your power button and fingerprint scanner, along with your volume rocker right there on the right side, your two main cameras, and then your under-screen, or not under-screen, pinhole camera there on the display. So the big change, besides obviously the processor, and I'll go ahead and power this on, is that we now have a lot of the improvements, specifically from the new hinge, that we have a higher dust and water resistance, something we did not have with the previous generation of any foldable from Samsung. We now have an IP48 rating. In addition to that, even though this phone has become $100 more expensive than previous generations, and this still remains the most affordable phone that folds from Samsung, we now also have more RAM, which I think is critical. We have a larger battery, to be exact. The Flip always had 8 gigs of RAM, and I think that was fine where it began. But over time, of course, this still carries a very premium price tag. It is a very premium device. So I think it is wise that Samsung decided to up the RAM from 8 gigs to 12. Now, storage capacity stayed the same, 256 base, half terabyte is the top of the line. And I think those are more than enough for the majority of users. So that's why I'm sticking to getting that RAM upgrade is big. Having that dust resistance, which means this can go to the beach, is also big. In terms of weight, we stayed right at 6.6 ounces. And as I stated, unfortunately, no improvement in charging speed or wireless charging. But now the phone, just like the Fold 6, is literally flush. That's how they got this better durability and IP48 rating from the IPX8, which was just water resistance. So really, this all amounts to, I think, a decent upgrade, to say the least. And then don't forget, the battery did go from 3,700 milliamp hours to 4,000. So I'm expecting better efficiency because of the new processor. I'm expecting better overall battery life in addition to that because, well, we have a bigger battery. And then when it comes to cameras, this got the update I wish the Fold had gotten, which is it actually got a new main camera. It went from 12 megapixels up to 50. Now, 50 is still a ridiculous number, and I don't like that smartphone manufacturers ever went to it, but the fact remains, this is now going to be better at taking still images than before with that new sensor. In addition to that, it still has the 12 and 10 megapixel, the wide angle being 12, the internal selfie camera there being 10. So, just to recap, we got a camera upgrade, the main camera, which I think is significant. We got more RAM from 8 to 12 gigs, which puts it right in there with top tier flagship devices like the Fold. Kind of wish the Fold had gone up to 16 gigs of RAM, but that's besides the point. We also got, of course, that larger battery, and we moved from IPX8 to IP48. So everything has improved on this device. What they didn't do was reimagine the actual design or the cover display. And I think that's what you need to understand in order to truly grasp that this is, yes, an incremental update for the Flip, unlike for the Fold, where there was a redesign, but this is still significant. It just makes what, again, is already one of the most popular devices on the market all that much more appealing. And fit and finish, tough to beat, really nice. I love the matte finishes on Samsung devices this year. I think their design language is top notch. I already know their products are top notch. And look, I haven't even mentioned the AI features. That's another big component of what Samsung has been marketing with the entire 6th generation of foldables. So that's another thing to get into through my full review, but that pretty much covers, I think, what you need to know right now in the unboxing. It's a really nice device. I personally prefer the Fold, but if this was the only foldable out there, this is probably what I would be using because it's still one of the best devices of its kind, even with its $100 price increase. And I would argue the $100 price increase with everything I mentioned, including the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 3, which granted you expect to get that upgrade, right, of the chip, but everything else we're paying for. And I think $100 to get the improved RAM, the improved battery, the improved resilience with the new hinge and dust and water rating, all of that really does amount to, I think, a veritable value for $100. And that's not me putting a spin on things. It's that usually, you get a price increase and it doesn't mean the device necessarily gets better. It could just be a reflection of cost changing, the market changing. So I think it's a good thing. If Samsung was going to make this more expensive, at least they realized consumers were going to demand more from them from what was going to be under the hood with this best-in-class foldable for 2024. And that, wraps up my unboxing of the Flip. I'm going to get this thing set up, start using it, and then report back to all of you what I perceive to be the gains from all of these benefits that I've mentioned, these improvements for the $100 difference 1 year later. And that rounds it out. Any questions or comments, please feel free to post them. Hit that like button. And as usual, please feel free to subscribe and please stay safe. Later.